consultants. I think I've covered almost all the categories, so excuse me if any category I have not mentioned. Well, as far as I know, wherever Dr. Goldrat's TOC theory of constraint interventions have happened in organizations across many countries and across almost all kinds of sectors, they have produced very. And I would also request Mrs. Gurpreet to please come and present a bouquet to Mrs. Mridula Jain, who very kindly consented to inaugurate today's session. Mrs. Mridula from Shingora Shawls. Mr. Singhal.
Good morning, all of you. Chief guest today morning, Mridula Jain, Managing Consultant Ravi Gilani, distinguished delegates to this interesting subject, increasing profits year after year. I desire to share with you a message which I received yesterday on this program, which says that no matter how many programs we conduct in LMA, but businesses in India cannot prosper as long as Pranab Mukherjee continues to be the chair as the finance minister. The true that earning profits is becoming very difficult by each passing day. Hence, the need of the program is all the more important. We, at Team LMA, welcome you to this program. We are happy to invite Ravi Gilani, who has answers to all our questions, and we will go back home, rich with ideas and learn to live while increasing profits in our organizations. I'm delighted to have with us an achiever, a woman entrepreneur, Mridula Jain. She is a teacher turned entrepreneur, created an organization in style, lifestyle and fashion by the name of Shingora Shawls in the year 1987. She was presented with Mahila Udyog Ratan and Women Entrepreneur of the year 1994. She exports to Europe and US. She has been dealing with all constraints in her career as an entrepreneur to run the organization. And to tell you that she has best of the profits in the state in ratio proportion to her sales. And I promised ma'am that I won't share the numbers just for the security reasons. A round of applause for her. I welcome again the delegates who are from all sectors. I can see textiles, I can see bicycles, I can see hand tools, farm parts, from the service sector, the Apollo Hospital. All across sections, they are here to listen to you. Thank you for joining here. Sindhwani Sahab, the Secretary on the Management Development Programs, he has done it again. Before that, he had organized one Management Development Program from a university professor, Harvard University professor, and this went very well. About 70 participants had joined that program. My thanks to Kamal and to S.K. Singla who have done it, and I look forward that some purposeful deliberations will happen in the program. Before I conclude, I just highlight about LMA 2-3. We had about 15 programs during the last 5 months. And one of the program was Shaping Young Minds. And we had almost 900 students present, the postgraduate students. And on the young women entrepreneurs, LMA had mobilized the young women from Ludhiana, and 8 have been selected, including a niece of our chief guest, to this program by ISB, and it is sponsored by the Goldman Sachs, an American company. With these words, I thank all of you. Thank you.
I would like to add my welcome first to Mrs. Mridula Jain, the chief guest this morning, and Ravi Gilani, managing consultant, Goldratt India, the faculty for the day. Also, a very warm welcome once again to all the participants who have been here today for a very powerful program on a subject which I believe is the most relevant and useful. I don't think anyone sitting in the hall would be looking for something more than wisdom as to how to increase profits year after year. And Mr. Singh rightly said that in the given scenario, it is becoming increasingly difficult to increase profits year after year. At LMA, we organize MDPs from time to time. The objective is basically to enhance competencies of the member companies by sharing the globally best management techniques and practices so as to develop a holistic perspective on the vital aspects of business management. Another objective is to organize programs which challenge the ideas and assumptions of doing business and induce fresh and innovative thinking. Coming to today's subject, which I'm asked to introduce as a theme for today. As you would have read in the background note which was circulated, Dr. Goldratt created a wonderful concept, TOC. In full form, it is theory of constraints. I was a little hesitant to use the word theory because normally, anyone from theory thinks probably it is a theoretical knowledge. But my experience tells me, and many of you would have read about it, it is the most practical business philosophy I've come across in my career of close to 3 decades now. It's a very powerful yet very, very simple and common sense approach to business management, and with a laser sharp focus on those very constraints which are limiting our profitability or the business improvement, be it in terms of increase in profits or improvement in cash flow or reducing manufacturing lead time or improving on-time delivery, amongst many others. My personal exposure to TOC started about 2 years back when I for the first time attended a program at TMTC, Tata Management and Training Center, Pune, on TOC. And my association with Ravi Gilani has been now a little over 6 months. I believe while TOC is a lifetime recipe and it has to be a way of life, handle orders which we receive from our customers, whether we talk about managing our shop floors or looking at the capital investment decisions or what kind of measurements we should have in our business. I think it's a wonderful philosophy, wonderful concept of managing our businesses. Not only the whole organization where TOC is implemented, develops a clearly focused and sensible approach towards vital business issues. There is actually substantial improvement we see in teamwork. There is much better shop floor management. There is a reduction in wastages and rejections. And you would agree with me that whenever we have rejection and the wastages control in any manufacturing organization, the quality improvement comes as a bonus. There is a reduction in work in progress. The shop floors are quite uncluttered, and on the top of it there is major reduction in working capital, and reduction in working capital means much better cash flows and reduced bank borrowings. TOC makes you realize that there is actually abundant potential already available existing in our organizations to reach heights of prosperity. We just need to identify the constraints and address them in a focused way. Friends, while I believe TOC has potential to bring about quantum improvement in business performance, my personal experience has been that it has profound impact in our personal lives as well. While in business, we continue following certain conventional practices which are actually harmful, as Ravi would elaborate during the day-long program, which are actually harmful to business, and we do not actually work on a focused way to address those limiting factors. Similarly, in our personal life also, quite often we do not effectively manage the constraints or the limiting factors which actually limit our happiness. TOC it actually provokes people to reassess their personal lives as well as business lives, and cultivating a different perspective, a new way of looking at issues with a very, very clear vision. And it actually helps to approach seemingly very complex situations in a very, very simplified way. My association with Ravi, I find that he is not only a TOC expert and maybe the first TOC expert in India, but he is a wonderful human being as well. He is full of energy and a fountain of inspiration always. As it is customary, I would read out the brief profile of Ravi for the benefit of all of you. Ravi Gilani is the founder and the managing consultant of Goldratt India. As the managing consultant of Goldratt India, Ravi introduced Dr. Eli Goldratt's theory of constraints in India in 1998. He is the first Jonah. Jonah is actually the character. Those of you who read the book Goal, Jonah is the expert character in that book, as well as a film which has been formed on that book. He is also the first Indian member of the Goldratt Group's international network of associates. Dr. Goldratt had personally trained Ravi in supply chain management. Dr. Goldratt and the directors of the Theory of Constraints International Certification Organization Board, which is TOC ICO, have certified Ravi as expert in holistic strategy, operations management, finance and measures, distribution management, and thinking processes. Ravi has been on the board of TOC ICO during 2005 to 2008. For over 40 years, Ravi's industrial experience has evolved from a core in manufacturing engineering through to total quality management and business process re-engineering to TOC. Prior to founding Goldratt India, Ravi was the chief consultant at ECS Limited, formerly known as Aisher Consultancy Services Limited. During his consulting career of over 18 years, Ravi has consulted for and with many Indian and transnational organizations such as L&T, Godrej & Boyce in engineering, Cellora International in consumer electronics, RPG Cables in telecommunications, Alstom in power equipment, Indian Aluminium, Dalmia Cement, and OCL India in cement and refractory, ICI in chemicals, Exide, Aisher, Ring Plus Aqua, and Sona Okegawa in automobile components, etc. Before starting his career, Ravi had gained valuable hands-on experience for 21 years in operations in the automobile industry, telco and Eicher. In addition to consulting, Ravi regularly disseminates his knowledge at a number of universities. He has made presentations at the Antioch University, Seattle, the University of Central England at Birmingham, and at IIM Indore. He has taught MBA students at many business schools, including the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, as a visiting faculty. Ravi is an alumnus of the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He enjoys striving for the impossible by challenging sacred assumptions and simplifying complexity. In fact, the other day I was talking to Ravi that we see a lot of value loss or destruction of value taking place around us in business organizations because of not that kind of understanding, business understanding, which acts as a limiting factor. And what would happen if actually my thought process came from one of the article which I was reading on transcendental meditation. I read that in US, where transcendental meditation was implemented across the town, there were many benefits coming out of that, and one of the benefits I read was the reduction in crime rate substantially. So I was just thinking that why can't we on the same lines think of Ludhiana being a TOC town, that if the TOC principles, as you would see, would come through during a day-long program, are implemented in the entire business community at Ludhiana, what kind of phenomenal increase it can bring about in the GDP of the town. But he went a step ahead and said, why are we looking at only town, Ludhiana town? Why don't we look at the entire country? If it becomes a TOC country, probably the GDP of the country can phenomenally increase. I'm sure today's program shall trigger a new thought process amongst all of us present here and bring about a totally new way of looking at the day-to-day business issues and a new perspective when it comes to managing our business as well as our personal lives. This is indeed a great privilege that we have him here with us today to conduct this program. I would now request our Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Mrs. Jan, to kindly address and formally inaugurate the program. Thank you.
Mr. Singhal, Mr. Gilani, and the officials of LMA, and my dear audience here. I must thank, first of all, LMA officials to providing me this particular opportunity on this management development program of increasing profit year after year. I think this is one topic which is very hot in these times of extreme recession facing us, and especially prevailing in parts of Europe, and bad economic scenario in the US. And we are all aware that we, the entrepreneurs of Ludhiana, are, I think, totally globally oriented. Of course, for us, the Indian market is very important, but large chunk of our business is connected to the lands beyond India. And increasing profit year after year is not so easy in these competitive times, when we are not only competing amongst ourselves, but with the likes in the neighboring Bangladesh, China, even Italians for our textiles, East European producers, as well as maybe now Pakistan as well. As the government tried to bring the world closer by opening the trade gates, the business is getting tougher every day. But I think even in these situations, I can maybe vouch that there is always a silver lining behind the dark clouds. The world has become so small because of the internet that now it is just like one marketplace. I think you go to any website and know the rates of your competitor, and maybe then see where your own strategy helps you to do better. To quote my own example, when I started my very small business around 26 years ago, I joined my husband and my brother-in-law in their primary business, who were used to working with their own money, the most conservative method which was prevalent at those times. I still remember that for the first 2-3 years, when my product was accepted by the market immediately upon launching, so we needed cash to put my orders into production. And my insistence of taking a bank loan was also not looked positively by my husband. But I had to convince him of my faith in my product, and that we could pay back as the payments were received. And also our fashion industry, especially the woolen knitwear and shawls, is just 3 to 4 months delivery times, with productions going on almost for the whole year. So again, managing the funds for yarn sourcing, payment to the workers were always 24/7 stress. But at the same time, what I wish to share with you, that my turnover of 10 lakhs in the first year changed to 25 lakhs in the second year and 45 lakhs in the third year. So of course I was awarded by different government organizations and different associations because of my continuously making profit year after year. My focus was my product and its newness and my good relations with my buyers, maybe Indian retailers or European wholesalers. I am proud to say that even after 26 years of my starting Shingora brand of shawls, I am still working with as many as I started with, and worked on my way to become a large-scale exporter and a name on a brand of high-end shawls. But I do understand that one always reaches a plateau at a stage when it is difficult to increase margins and profits again later. But for that, I think now we have